Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Attorney General Josh Shapiro, honored to serve the Commonwealth. I'm very honored to be here today in the mayor's office to talk about an incredibly important issue, our air quality here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm glad to be here with the mayor, with the county executive, with the councilwoman to talk about the quality of air we breathe, to have clean, fuel-efficient cars on our roads, and the actions we're taking to protect those interests and rights for the people of Pennsylvania. Tomorrow, I'm here to tell you that I will file formal legal comments with the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, opposing the Trump administration's plans to roll back federal rules on car emissions and fuel efficiency standards. These clean car standards have been working well for Pennsylvanians and for the American public. These rules have led to more fuel-efficient cars on our roads, savings for consumers at the pump, and a cleaner environment for Pennsylvanians and our country. Despite the broad impact of the proposed rule change, just 3 public hearings were held across this country, including one right here in Pittsburgh last month. Jess Harvey, my Chief Deputy Attorney General in our Bureau of Consumer Protection, testified on behalf of my office about the impact this rule would have on consumers. Before I get into the details about why these clean car rules matter, I want to say a few things about Pittsburgh to put this issue in better perspective. Pittsburgh and Allegheny County share a proud history of driving American industry through steel production. That proud legacy, however, has had side effects, specifically the air quality that Pittsburgh and Allegheny County residents breathe each day. By many measurements, air quality is improving throughout the region, though real challenges, I know these folks will acknowledge, remain. I want to applaud the mayor and the county executive for contributing to the measurable decline in pollution in this region. In fact, I want to congratulate you, Mr. Mayor, on winning the Bloomberg Climate Challenge just this past weekend. The Trump administration's proposed rules will roll back these standards and harm the environmental progress that has been made right here in Pittsburgh, as well as in other parts of our Commonwealth. And we are taking action to try to stop them. I'm thankful to the leadership of the mayor and the county executive and the councilwoman who previously filed formal comments on this rule on behalf of the Pittsburgh region. Let me explain what the deal is and why this matters so much to Pittsburghers and Pennsylvanians. Right now, the current clean car standards cover the years 2017 to 2025. This includes a year-by-year greenhouse gas emission reduction target of 4.4% for the model years 2022 through 2025. The Trump administration's plan to actually roll back these standards and require 0 improvements in greenhouse gas emissions for vehicles in the model years 2021 through 2026. The administration's plans would also roll back standards requiring automakers to nearly double the fuel economy of passenger vehicles by 2025 from 27 miles per gallon up to 54 miles per gallon. It would halt requirements that automakers build cleaner, more fuel-efficient cars, including hybrids and electric vehicles. They are reversing course on standards that are actually working, that are improving lives and improving our environment. And I strongly oppose this rollback. But it actually goes further than just the environmental and health impact. As part of the rollback, the EPA is proposing to revoke parts of a waiver granted to the state of California under the Clean Air Act to actually implement vehicle emission standards that are stricter than what the federal government already provides. This waiver actually dates back to something President Nixon signed in 1970. So the question is, why am I talking about California? Well, it would also prohibit a dozen other states that have adopted California standards from implementing their plans. Those states collectively account for 30% of the cars sold across the United States. And of course, one of those states that has adopted the stricter California standards is the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We adopted those California standards back in 2006. So to me, this is both an environmental issue, a public health issue, and a states' rights issue. And that is another reason why I'm taking action to oppose this rollback of our environmental protection standards. In addition to air quality and our states' rights, this is also an issue for the wallets of Pittsburghers and Pennsylvanians. Gas is a big part of any family budget, and gas prices are at their highest level in 4 years. Clean car standards actually protect family budgets from dramatic price increases at the pump. They help make sure you pay less because your car is more fuel efficient. American clean car standards have saved drivers more than $50 billion since they were adopted, and they save the average consumer $5,700 over the life of their car. The benefits of these standards go beyond our wallets and our pocketbooks. Fuel efficiency standards are expected to spur job growth as well in the auto industry as it develops new technologies. Look, Pittsburgh is an innovation hub. This is where so many of these new innovative ideas come from. And so this stymies our local economy as well if these rules go into effect. These clean car standards help protect us all, and particularly our most vulnerable citizens, our seniors and children and individuals with health issues. According to the EPA's own data, more than 7 million Pennsylvanians breathe harmful air. The American Lung Association estimates that more than 1.7 million adults and 235,000 children across Pennsylvania have asthma symptoms. This would make that worse. A July study by one environmental group found that in the Pittsburgh region, the air was unhealthy to breathe 121 days out of 365. We are working hard to improve these numbers. These leaders are doing a tremendous job to improve those numbers. It makes no sense to turn back now from that progress and go backwards. Listen, when the Trump administration acts in ways that violate the rule of law and harms Pennsylvanians' health, I've already shown that I'm willing to take legal action to protect the Commonwealth. Last year, I sued the EPA over its rollback of smog protections, and former EPA Administrator Scott Pruitt quite literally backed down the next day. When we sue to protect Pennsylvanians' environmental rights, we win. Our suits are firmly grounded in the rule of law and in our state constitutional right to clean air and pure water guaranteed under Article 1, Section 27 of our Constitution. So this is about our pocketbooks. This is about our environment. This is about public health. And this is about the rule of law. Clean car standards are common sense. Pennsylvania needs the Trump administration to abandon its dangerous proposal and maintain the standards that are already working. A few weeks ago, when that hearing was held here in Pittsburgh on the administration's rollback of clean car standards, a mother from our region, Amy Nassif, who attended the hearing, said this in her testimony, quote, "Our future generations depend on the current generation to make sound decisions for our health, safety, and environment. The world is watching us now. That's why we're standing up to this ill-advised proposal from the Trump administration. I hope they reconsider what they're trying to do here. Make no mistake, if they go forward with this rule, we will see them in court. We have a proven track record of standing up for Pennsylvanians and the rule of law and winning in court. I hope it doesn't have to come to that, but if it does, knowing that these strong leaders here in Pittsburgh are standing with us makes our case even stronger and even more likely to succeed. I'm proud to be here with the mayor. I commend him for his important work, and I welcome him to say a few words at this time. Mayor?
Thanks, General.
Thank you.
It's an honor to be able to stand with our Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, and to be able to realize that we stand together. The city of Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, City Council, and the state of Pennsylvania. I'll be very brief in remarks. There is a commission that was created during the 1970s out of Washington called the Alliance to Save Energy, a bipartisan commission led by senators from both sides of the aisle. In September, a committee of that commission called the 50 by 50 released a report to Congress which details how we will be able to reduce the energy use of transportation, all modes of transportation, from shipping to aircraft to automobiles, by 50% by the year 2050. This action sets back the bipartisan effort in order to be able to address this issue immeasurably, and it must be stopped. The automobile life is expected to be around 12 years. Decisions that we make today will have an effect in 2030. We won't be able to address issues of where we need to be by the year 2050 unless we have steps that are being taken in a proactive way today. So I again want to thank our Attorney General for standing up and recognizing the imperativeness of these actions and understanding that the long-term effects to the environment will be felt for at least the next 12 years if we were to allow this to occur.
Thank you. Let me bring up Rich Fitzgerald, who needs no introduction, but our great county executive.
Thank you, Attorney General. Appreciate it. And Mayor and Councilwoman. Yeah, this is a partnership. And we also submitted testimony during the period. And I know Dr. Hacker, the Health Department Director, who has been very proactive in working on the industrial issues that occur. But, you know, it's a multi-pronged approach that needs to happen to improve our air quality, and vehicular is a huge, huge component of it. We have over 1 million cars in Allegheny County that are registered that drive our roads every day. So these standards, as we're improving technology, as technology gets better, it makes no sense to roll back the standards that have been agreed to, as the mayor indicated, in a bipartisan measure. So we're hoping that the EPA takes the testimony that they're getting from around the country seriously and decides not to move forward with rolling back these standards. It is, as the mayor said and the Attorney General said, it's about our future, it's about our children, it's about our grandchildren, about where we're going to be and where we're going to be as a country. So we're hopeful that occurs. I'm glad to be here today. Thank you, General, for doing this, and we'll continue to work with you on this important issue.
Thank you. Councilwoman Erica Strasburger testified at that hearing that occurred in Pittsburgh, and we welcome your leadership and appreciate you saying a few words.
Thank you, Attorney General.
Thank you.
I did attend the hearing that the EPA held earlier this summer, and in addition to that, held my own public hearing on behalf of City Council. And what I can tell you from both of those hearings is that this is not only a decision for the pocketbook and a smart decision for clean air and for climate, but it's incredibly popular. The number of people who attended the hearings and spoke out in support of the existing rules was staggering. And those existing rules are quite remarkable. The previous administration did a remarkable thing by bringing together existing rules for vehicles around clean air to make sure that the air that we breathe is safe and healthy into the future in an increasing amount, and climate rules that would marry those two and allow the two to work together. This would undo years and years of negotiations that were in fact cemented earlier in the previous administration and supported by the automakers and the auto industry. So I'm proud to live in a Commonwealth that is on the right side of history on this and is taking action, is taking the necessary legal action, and in a city that is doing so much both on clean air and climate, but we're just a city and we need the support of the federal government and our federal leaders when it comes to truly making the healthiest region and the healthiest future for our children and grandchildren. So thank you for what you're doing, and I'm proud to be a part of this city and this region and this Commonwealth for these reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Again, I want to thank Chief Deputy Attorney Jess Harvey, who is here with us today, and for your good work on this, and of course the mayor, the councilwoman, and our county executive. This is a strong team leading this region. I'm proud to be associated with you, and with that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Joe, do you have any sort of statistical measurements of the impact of vehicular pollution on health here in Allegheny County or Western Pennsylvania?
Well, we know that it is one of the most significant impacts on our air quality. We know that 7 million Pennsylvanians today breathe harmful air. We know that 1 out of every 3 days here in the Pittsburgh region has harmful air quality. But we also know that all of those statistics have been trending in the right way. And a big part of what we were hoping for in the future was to have auto emission standards improve so that our air quality would improve as well. Seeing that now go the other way is only going to lend to more harmful qualities being in our air, undermining public health and safety, and ultimately harming individuals' checkbooks. Mayor, do you want to add anything to that?
And I just didn't know if there were any specific, projections as to the increase in lung cancer or anything like that, if the standards roll back.
There's a lot of good data on that in the formal comments that we will provide tomorrow, as well as what the mayor and the county executive have provided, and we're happy to get that to you. Anything else?
General Adam Smeltz with the Post-Gazette. I just want to make sure I understood you correctly. Are you saying that if the Trump administration moves forward with these rollbacks, that your office intends to bring litigation to try to stop that?
Sure. Right now, the way the process works is they put forth a proposed rule. We offer formal comment on that rule, and we will be filing our formal comments tomorrow. The Trump administration will then have, as long as they want, really, to review the comments that have come in and make a determination as to whether to go forward, and if so, what that rule would look like. Let me be very clear. In the past, when we've offered comments or we've threatened litigation, they've literally turned around and done a 180 and not gone forward with their proposed rule. That was one example I cited earlier on smog rules. But if they choose to go forward and their rule looks like what they're proposing here today, I will not hesitate to bring a lawsuit on behalf of the Commonwealth. And based on our track record, I'm very confident in our ability to win that lawsuit.
In some of the other cases, business leaders too have stepped up and said, like when Trump pulled out of the Paris Accords, that hey, no matter what the regulations are, we're already moving ahead with this. We're years ahead of some of these regulations. We're actually learning how to make money and have cleaner energy, et cetera. Are you, do you think is that another solution that the private industry could still step up and continue this path, or are you worried though just the fact that at some point they need the regulations to make it happen?
There's a strong coalition of businesses. There's a strong coalition of local leaders like the mayor and the councilwoman. There's a strong coalition of states who have said, look, if the federal government's not going to lead, we will. Now, we'd like to have our federal partners be a part of this. And I think hopefully they will do the right thing. But if they don't, we're still prepared to lead. Now, it makes it harder for us to lead when they not only step back from the federal commitment, but also then tie my hands and tie the hands of lawmakers and Governor Wolf so that we can't adopt stricter standards like the California standards. That'll be a big part of our lawsuit should we have to file one to ensure that we're protecting our state's rights. Mayor?
Now, I would go back to the bipartisan commission, the Alliance to Save Energy. The 50 by 50 commission itself was led. The chair was the head of Audi for North America. Automobile manufacturers were a part of that plan to reduce energy costs across all industry sectors by 50% by 2050. They realized that it's also a part of the market, that people are looking for fuel-efficient vehicles, and they want to be able to produce a product that people will want to buy.
So you're hopeful they would stick by that then, even if the regulations didn't mandate it?
Yeah, this report came out after the president's announcement.
Anything else? Great. Thank you all very much.